Hello friends, welcome to my channel once again. Welcome to Daily Code Challenges. Today is day 24, yes. All right, and today is the 25th of December. Today is Christmas Day. All right, so today we have another interesting challenge before us and let's check it out. All right, so I'm simply going to reveal what the challenge is all about. And we have uncompress, right? So it says write a function uncompress that takes the parameter string in a compressed string, right, as an argument. A compressed string consists of a character immediately followed by the number of times it appears in the uncompressed form. Hmm. This function should return the uncompressed version of the string. See examples. Okay, all right. So let's take line 8, 9, and 10 as case studies, right? Okay, so for line 8, we can see that we have x3, y4, z2. On line 9, we have a5, b2, c4, z1. Line 10 says b1, 02, t1. This practically means that the first character, which is x, for every alphabet, there's always a number after it, and that number it represents the number of iteration x is supposed to make, right? So that means that x is supposed to appear 3 times in a string, then y should appear 4 times in a string, then z to appear twice in a string, and all should be in the same string. Similarly, line 9, the character a should appear 5 times in a string, b 2 times, c 4 times, z once, and that's why we have a b b c c c c z. So that's also applicable to line 10. Now, taking a closer look at this, we observe that the alphabet gets iterated the number of times that we can see after them, meaning that x should appear 3 times. That means that we are supposed to make a loop that should make the letter x appear 3 times, y 4 times, z twice. All right, so let's head into the code implementation and see how best we can achieve that. All right, this is gonna be a bit tricky, but let's see how we can get to the right implementation. So I'll begin by writing the function keyword, since we are writing a function, and the name of the function is uncompress. So uncompress is going to take a parameter called str, and then the next thing we want to do, since we are going to be looping through the arguments here, this, and this, we need to use a for loop. We say for index. So I simply change my index to I. I remove array because we are dealing with strings, right? Our arguments are strings. Then we remove this line of code. We don't need it. Okay, so one thing I think we can do here is that let's assign the alphabet to a variable name. Let's say we have let alpha equals string I. So this is for alpha, and then the number for the numbers we are simply going to say let num equals string I plus 1. All right. So what this actually means is that The string I here is simply the letter given, that's X, Y, and Z, while string I plus 1 simply takes the index one step forward. And we notice that after every alphabet here, what we have next is a number. So that's why we said string I plus 1, right? Where the I, it represents the index of the letter, and I plus 1 represent the index of the number. Okay, so having established this, we need to loop through the entire array now. But in this case now, we are going to be looping through every single alphabet. That means that every single alphabet is expected to be iterated a given number of times that is represented by the number that comes after it, right? So we say for, we use a for loop. We say for. In this case, we are not going to use I anymore because we've already used I here. We use J rather, and we remove this line of code. And now, instead of saying array.length, what do we want to do? We want to loop in a given number of time, right? Which is represented by num. Take note also that this for loop is a nested for loop because it's present in the outer for loop. So this for loop is not a separate one, right? It's inside this bigger for loop. All right, because that is going to be very, very important. All right, so we say for let j equals 0, j less than num, j plus plus. What's the next thing we should do here? Um, okay, so what we are supposed to actually do now is we are supposed to add the value of alpha. For instance, if alpha is x, x is supposed to appear 3 times in the string. That means that we are supposed to loop x in num times, right? We are supposed to loop alpha, which is a letter character in the argument. We loop it num times. So that's going to be something like this. We say, we first of all, we declare an empty string. You can use the let keyword. We say let's call it new string equals this, right? So this is going to be new new string plus, or new string equals new string plus alpha. So what this means is that new string is an empty array, right? And then it gets concatenated to the value we have for alpha. And then the value we have for alpha is simply the string I. And string I in the argument is starting with x. That means that x is going to be added 3 times to this array, to this new string, sorry. So x is going to be added 3 times into this string. Then after when that is done, y should be added 4 times into this same string. When that is done, z should be added 2 times into this string. All right, let's see if that works. But before then, we need to return new string. We say return new string. All right, so I simply save this and I run the code. I hope this works well. Oh, wow, this works. Yes. So here we have, let's be very sure it works. So here we have x, 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 y, 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 z, z. Okay. X, 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 y, 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 z, z. It works. Okay. So here we have A5. We have A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B2, B2. C4, C, 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 C. Then Z1. All right, so this works. We have B1, O2, O, then T1. All right, so this actually works, right? Like I said, it's a tricky one, very tricky. Let's shorten our code. Let's refactor this code. Let's make this one to become this. It still works, right? Let's save and let's run again. Okay, that works. So what else can we adjust again? I don't think we have any more thing to actually do here. So the main thing is that this code works fine, right? Okay, so I'm so excited that this is working very well. Okay, so I'm just going to log another string, right? Let's see. Let's log another string. So I am going to write some things here, and after when it is logged, we are going to understand what I'm writing. So I'll say M1, E1, R2, Y1, space should appear one. So we say space one. Then the next thing we want to write is C1, H1, R1, I1, S1, M1, A4, S1. All right, so I'm going to save this and let's see if this is going to work as expected. All right, so I run this code. Wow, it says Merry Christmas, but here we omitted T. Okay, so let's add T to our Christmas. Okay, so T should come before M. So we say T1. All right, so let's save this and let's run again. Wow, so we have Merry Christmas. Okay, so I am going to do something else again. I'll put exclamation mark, just one of it, and then write three. So we want exclamation mark to appear three times. Okay, let's run this code. Wow, Merry Christmas. Wow. Wow, this is really fun, right? So this is how this is a code implementation to the function we have here, the challenge we have here, Uncompress, right? So thank you very much and Merry Christmas to you. Have a nice time. Bye.